Hopefully I have room. Tara, thank you for joining me at Get Ready for the Dress, girl. So let me tell you about Get Ready for the Dress. It is my podcast. And what I love to do on my podcast is this is my toy. This is my toy. I just love to get in here and have girlfriend conversations because what I like to do and what I use Get Ready for the Dress for is getting the ladies ready for whatever they need to be dressed for. It could be a wedding, it could be a divorce, it could be getting ready to start dating again. It could be whatever they need to be dressed for. It could be whatever the topic is. So, girl, let's bring it. So, tell us what you do and what you do, what you specialize in. So dress us, girl, dress us.
I love it. Well, I'm wearing my dress today. See, I have flowers on. I love it.
That's
Because
good.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Good for you. Yes, girl. Let's go.
So I am a certified sex therapist and a sexual empowerment coach. And so I help women listen, know, and love their bodies. Because when we know that, we can tap into the inherent wisdom of who we are. And then we can know more pleasure. And if we choose to, we can share that pleasure with others. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
All right. Okay. So great. I love it. Sex therapist, girl. Yes. So how do you get your clients?
They come to me because they want more pleasure.
More pleasure. Okay.
Right.
So do you get more women or more guys, or what's your demographic?
Well, that's a good question because I've been doing this for over 20 years and I would say it ebbs and flows. There have certainly been times when I've seen more men in my practice, and now I'm really focusing in on women.
So why the switch? I mean, what made you do that?
Well, because of my book. I wrote this book called Rediscovering My Body, and it is about women on their journey of exploring themselves. And so it is a guidebook. It's a book with experiential exercises and activities for women to engage in the privacy of their own home by themselves or with their sisters or whomever they would like to do these exercises with, so they know more about who they are, how they show up for themselves, and how they show up for pleasure. And the reason why I wrote it is because I was on my own journey of rediscovering my body after 25 years of being married, and, the crash, bang, slam of the end of that relationship. And once the door shut, then I needed to figure out, what do I want? What do I really want? And so I had written this book a number of years ago, but during coronavirus, I thought, what have I done that I can repurpose? And then this came to the forefront because originally I had written this book for women who'd been on a cancer journey. And so then when I was repurposing it, I took out all the references that made it exclusively for women who'd had cancer to make it for all women, because I knew that this was a journey that I was on, because I was rediscovering my body, rediscovering my pleasure, rediscovering me outside of the context of being married for most of my adult life.
Yeah, exactly. So were you a sex therapist when you were married to your husband?
Yep. Yeah. I've been a sex therapist for 20 years. That's the only thing I've done really in my adult life, the only thing I've done besides being an educator, but I'm an educator too. I just educate about sex.
Oh yeah. That you just a different form of education.
Yep. Different form.
Yeah, exactly.
The best.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So how did you know that's what you want to do?
Well, it wasn't like I was a little girl thinking I wanted to be a sex therapist, because my mama would not have liked that, I'd say.
Right. That's right. Be like, what? You didn't know. Yeah, it was taboo to talk about.
It was taboo, and it was just not in my awareness. What I wanted to be was an educator. I wanted to talk about words and expanding people's vocabulary. And in essence, that is what I'm doing, because I'm helping people find the words for sex and sexuality, because oftentimes we don't have fluency in this area because people haven't spoken to us about it. So I knew I wanted to be an educator I wanted to teach English. And so that's what I did. And then when I was teaching Beowulf and Macbeth, what I found was that content got in the way because I
Yeah.
wanted to know my students. They
Yeah.
were these amazing individuals who were coming back for adult education to get their high school diplomas because they were grandmas and they wanted to get their high school
Mm-hmm.
diploma with their grandchildren, or they were pregnant teens, or they were
Mm,
people who had worked all day and needed to come to school at night to get their high school diploma, and that they were amazing people. And so I
mm-hmm.
thought, this content stuff is getting in the way. I want to know about them. And so
Right.
then I went to graduate school, became a therapist. And then when I graduated, I started in a private practice, and all of my clients wanted to talk about sex and sexuality. And I had 0 classes on human sexuality in my graduate studies. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need to get up to speed because I know about sex personally, but
Yeah.
professionally, I don't really know how to help people in this area. But I want to, because if they're opening up to me and
Yeah.
speaking to me about these topics that are so vulnerable and intimate, I want to be able to meet them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went back to school kind of and became a certified sexologist and then a certified sex therapist, and it's really rigorous processes. And
Yeah.
now I am a sexual empowerment coach in addition. So I do it all.
Nice. Okay. So okay, so you said you're switching, you had at one point mostly men were your client, and now
Yep.
you switching, so you're still gonna service guys, right? Male,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and but
Yeah,
you
yeah. I still work with men. I do see quite a bit of men. And oftentimes when they come to see me, they're in a heterosexual relationship. So they're in a
Mhm.
relationship with a woman and they're coming in to
Right.
see me. And that's how I see most of the men in my work currently.
Yeah.
And that's great. I love men. I think they're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But you're looking for more female women, and what you're venturing out to get more women clients. So let
Mm-hmm.
me ask you this. So when they come to you, how is, let's just talk about what is, we don't have to get like into anybody business, but what does that what that conversation look like?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm recognizing is there's certainly some themes in this conversation.
Okay.
And one of the biggest ones that I'm noticing now
Hmm.
is that oftentimes the women are struggling with control, and they
Mm,
want to dictate how things go, and they want to have this curated experience, which is great.
hmm.
And sex is about stepping into the wild. It's about stepping into the risk. It's
Hmm.
about stepping into the danger. So, what I would say is that our erotic lives aren't elements of ourselves that we can control, as that we can control a lot of things in our life, but it is about the release of control and how we show up for that erotic experience where we can have higher levels of pleasure.
Hmm.
And it is that opportunity to step into that and to trust that
Hmm.
they'll be met by their beloved, by their lover. That is what's I'd say sticking women. It's like they feel stuck there because they
Hmm.
control so much of their lives,
Right.
that to release that control is scary. That's what I'm
Hmm.
noticing. So they don't
Mm,
have the pleasure that they want to have because in order to attain that or experience that, they need to release control. And
mm.
and that's where they're getting stuck. So that's why they're coming to see me.
Oh, and that's the women, right?
That's the women. That's where we're
So, but
at. Yep.
the guys will be different then.
Yes, the guys are different. The guys are like, oh, well, the guys are a little bit more pragmatic. They're struggling with erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, those kinds of things. And they're
Yeah.
just like, I'm broken, fix me. And I'm like, I don't fix broken people. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
But let's have a conversation about this
Yeah.
and start to talk about how they experience pleasure. So men is very different experience. Whereas for women, it is, I would say, by and large, recently about this control. They're
Yeah.
controlling something in some way and not allowing. So they're not able to receive the pleasure that they'd like.
Hmm. Wow. So let me ask you this. I was gonna ask you something. Shoot, totally forgot. Oh, I was gonna ask you. So in the industry you're in, how popular is this industry? Is it like, is it, I mean, I know it's a needed industry, but I'm saying, is it a lot? Because you're like probably the third sex. person I met within the last year. And I didn't even know that it was a such a thing. So what is the industry like? Like, what's the population, and is it like a wide selection of sexology? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. So I would say that the sexual wellness industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that sexual empowerment is an essential piece of
Hmm.
self-care, and that women are recognizing that, men are recognizing that, and because of that, this is huge. It's a huge
Hmm.
industry, and women want to go away on retreats to
Hmm.
have this knowledge imparted to them, that they want to be able to be in a safe space in order to
Hmm.
receive this wisdom. Um, and it's everybody. That's what I would say. It's that it's so pervasive, is that we all come into this life as sexual beings,
Hmm.
and then we have the overlay of religion or of some restrictive belief that oppresses our experiences of sexuality and limits the amount of pleasure that we experience in our bodies. And
Yeah.
when we're able to work with that shame in an effective way and release it, then we can experience more pleasure. And I'd say everybody wants more pleasure. And
Yeah.
women, we have a clitoris, which has
Hmm.
3,000 nerve endings, and it's only built for pleasure. There is no other purpose for the clitoris.
Mm.
That's a true thing.
Wow. Wow. I'm sure, and I, like you said, it's a shame, some ooh, taboo, oh, we shouldn't talk about that, or no, just so many, what's the word I'm looking for, so many political factors that plays into actually enjoying the pleasure, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're multifaceted beings, and all of those
Mhm.
facets can impact us and how we show up sexually. And when we goodness, aren't aware of them, then they
Mhm.
can often suppress us and our experience of sexual expression. And because we don't grow up in a sex positive culture, we don't often have the words to claim our pleasure. So we
Mhm.
can't say, this is what pleases me, and let me tell you that, because we don't even have the words. And so,
Right.
what I help women do is get the vocabulary to begin to identify their own sensual self, their own experience of pleasure, their own parts of their body. I mean, I've
Mhm.
had women in their 50s saying down there, referencing their own erogenous zones. And it's like, that doesn't work if you're trying to communicate
Yeah.
effectively with a partner.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm your partner in helping you create a vocabulary. So let's start to look at words that feel comfortable for you. And so
Yeah.
to build that vocabulary enables one to then have fluency and create a common language with their lover, where they can say things about, this is what brings me pleasure, and
Mhm.
this is what I'd like to explore, and really making it an invitation for further exploration and conversation than shutting things down.
No, oh yeah. I like that. I like that way. Yeah. So that is so cool. So, do you do retreats?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hosting one this month in April. I'm
Mhm.
hosting one next month in May. I find that retreats are an opportunity and a transformation point for women. Is that
Mm.
when they're working with me as the expert, they also are working with each other to
Mhm.
really normalize their experiences, and also to understand um, so much more about the prevalence of some of these issues that they're speaking about. Is that it's not just that they are living this alone in a cocoon,
Mhm.
but it
Mhm.
is something that a lot of women experience. And so I think knowing that really opens their eyes, and also gives them more hope about how things can change. Because I think when we live in a vacuum, then we kind
Mhm.
of think that it's just me and I'm broken. And the
Yeah.
truth is, that's not true.
Right, exactly. And I was gonna say the so do and this may be too personal, I don't know. Um do you get like do you get like a certain type of women, the same type of women that come all the time? You know what I mean? Is it the same type, or is it, is it variety? Like, is it your good girl, church going? or
Yeah.
your
Yeah. I mean, I actually see quite a bit of them. I think the overlay of religion on our sexuality has been really powerful and potent. And I think a lot of women are ready to strip that layer away.
yeah.
And I also see that I'd say the common theme or like the salient characteristic is that most of these women that are coming to see me have an urgency. It's like
Mm,
they're done. And this is why I was seeing a lot of women with cancer, because they're done with surviving. They want to thrive. It's like they
mhm,
were given another day to live this
mhm,
life in their sacred vessel, and they want to experience pleasure because
mhm,
they know that, there's going to be an end to this time in this body, and they want to claim all of that they can for themselves
mhm,
now. And I'd
mm,
say that's a beauty of what
yeah,
women who've had cancer have experienced. It's they want more, and they're courageous and willing to claim that. And I'd say that theme or that salient characteristic transfers to other women who are saying, yeah, I want it now. I've been married for 20 years and I haven't had that experience, and I want it. Or
yeah.
I don't want to live another day like this because I've been there, done that, and I don't like
Mhm.
it. Or I
Let
want
me
more.
exactly. And so when they come to you, this is part this I think this is it's going to be a good question, but I'm halfway laughing. Um, so I think when women come to you married and they come to you and they leave you and they go home, their husband probably go, "Where you been? Where you get this from?"
I'd say you're right, Jeniece. And some men are like, oh, you're going to see a sex something?
Yeah,
Yay!
yeah, exactly, exactly.
What
Some,
are you going to talk to her about? Yay!
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
not
you're
just
right.
so much the yay, but like that's my interpretation of
Yeah.
their like, yes.
Yes, you got some that's yeah, yeah, go. How much it costs? Let me pay for it. But then you got some like we need to have this conversation. Yeah, I get
Yes.
it. That
Yes. Yeah.
I could just see if I was a fly on the wall, can see some of that going on. That is really cool though, but that is so awesome because like you said, there's so much political stigma around it that people are just so, don't want to talk about it. I know I had mentioned to somebody I know um, about, talking to you, and they were like, you're gonna have them part of your mask. I was like, don't. I mean, because I know it just seemed like they were already uncomfortable, and I'm like, it's a whole new day, and we're in a whole new century, and just everything is new.
You said it.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, what's wrong with it?
Mm-hmm,
You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? I mean,
I
it's
know exactly what you mean.
yeah, it's like who's afraid to talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be talk about it. I know where I come from. I'm from Indiana, and I remember now I'll be 54 this year, but I remember having sex ed in the school. We had to have that class. I remember having to have my mom consent to take the class and look at the video. I remember a video, you know, we had to have it. But what happened after that, after that from the kids that came after, I don't know, but I shouldn't say after, it got broader and broader. Before me, like my mom's generation, they didn't have it. It's very taboo for them to talk about it. Well, my mom talked to me about it, but like my grandmother, she didn't have a discussion with my mom, and it's same with her mom. So it was like a silent thing. And then like I said, when I came around, we had it in school. So my parents really had to talk to us about it because it was in our face. And then now, my nieces and I mean, is out there. And the thing is it's TV shows. TV does not hide anything. I mean, it's just it's fair game. But it's okay because it is life. It really is a part of life, and it's a part. It's a part of life that we should be open about and willing
Yes.
and not afraid to talk about it. Because if you go biblical, if we really want to go biblical, it talks about it, you look in the Old Testament, like in the New Testament, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
there. So um there's nothing to be afraid of. It actually should be a welcoming. You should welcome the conversation and have it freely and be open. And it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to have boundaries.
Yes.
So I just don't, I get it. I don't get it, but I understand the generation before me and before me, but I'm grateful because my grandmother, before she passed away, she was, and my mom is the same way. She was willing to talk to us. You know what I mean? She got past what, the taboo stuff. It was like, and it was probably because my mom has always been like, we need to hear about it. Y'all need to know, because I want you to know from me, then find out in the streets, you know?
Exactly. Thank goodness. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think your mama had the right idea for sure, because you're going to learn about it somehow. So it
Hmm.
might as well be for me. And let me tell you what my experience has been, because that's so important. What I
Hmm.
find is that when we experience shame or we have that in our system on a cellular level, it also equates with silence. So then
Yeah.
people are not speaking. And that the way to break through the cycle of shame is to speak about it, is to
Hmm.
have expression. And so when we put words to these experiences, we're breaking down that cycle of shame, because just like you said, this is part of our experience. And
Hmm.
so for myself, being in my former marriage for 25 years, one of the things that my husband would say, my former husband would say, was like, don't tell people that you're a sex therapist. Just tell them that you're a therapist, because that's okay. And then if I did say, because I'd ask what do you specialize in, I'd say sex therapy. And then my former husband would say, and if you do tell them you're a sex therapist, although I prefer if you didn't, that you should say that you work with women who have cancer. And so really, this control of, because you can say that because it's morally redeeming, and these women, are on the verge uh, of death. They're facing their own
Hmm.
mortality. So it makes it morally redeeming to be able to bring them some sense of pleasure, or put them out of their suffering for a little bit. So you could see kind of the mindset. And this is in my
Yeah.
own marriage that I'm
Yeah.
contending with. And the reality is that I needed to break out of that, because it
Hmm.
wasn't serving me. It certainly wasn't serving the women that I was working with. And
Right.
that sex and sexuality is a natural part of our lives, that there should be no shame around it. It
Right.
is who we are as
Right.
beings. We
Hmm.
eat, we drink, and we have sex. And that in Ayurveda, which is an ancient medical system in India, is like that is one of the three pillars. It's nutrition, sleep, and sex, is that those are seen as foundational to your well-being. And I absolutely agree.
You said nutrition, sleep, and sex. Oh, let me write that down.
Yep. Yeah, because if you don't have one, it will impact how you feel and how you show up in the world. I know that's true.
Exactly. That is so true. I agree with you on that. That is, oh my gosh, that is so cool that I like that. Nutrition, nutrition, sleep, and sex.
Yep.
So where did you do your studies at?
I studied at Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. And the reason why I went there is because it's a contemplative university. They really infuse their education with contemplative practices. So I had 10 weeks over 3 years of meditation. So 10 weeks of meditation, in addition to my daily meditation practice, which was an hour a day. But
Mhm.
the 10 weeks were intensive meditation retreats, because we're supposed to know who we are, so we don't
Mhm.
put it on our clients, because so much of
Mhm.
our relationships as humans are about projecting our stuff onto other people. But to really know somebody, you really need to know what's yours. So we spend a lot of time figuring out what's mine, because I don't want to give
Wow.
it to you. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So
Yes.
10 weeks consecutive, 10 straight weeks.
They did conceived the program initially like that, and they implemented it as such. When I finally got there, it's changed many times since then, but when I got there, it was month-long retreats, which was amazing. And still, it was just a month. So a month-long retreat the first year, a month-long retreat the second year, and the culmination was just that final week. So 4.5 weeks, and then the last year was the 1 week, and it made it a little bit more doable. But still, I had young babies, and to be away from them for a month was really kind of crazy. I don't know that I would ever do that again, but I was young. I was in my 20s and just felt like, okay, I'm just going to do this because this is important. And I'm so glad I did, because what I know is that the techniques that you use as a therapist, as a sexual empowerment coach will come, but the opportunity to embody the principles of that knowledge, of those techniques, and where those techniques are developed from are invaluable. And that's what I've been honing over the past 20 years. It's not just the techniques, it's the embodiment of those principles. So yeah, that I know that was critical to my own understanding and my own knowledge.
That's good. Okay, that's real good. That's real good. So, um, do you I know you say you teach a workshop. Is it where do you teach your workshop at?
Right now, I do everything online. So
Okay,
I
good.
hosted a virtual retreat last month. This month, it will be a virtual retreat. And next month, it's a virtual retreat. I host a digital community on Kajabi. And that is, how I run a large part of my business. And I see clients who are in my coaching program via Zoom. So everything's online at this point, which is great because you can be in any part of the world, and I can too.
That is so cool. Okay, good. I definitely would love to check out one. Um, and see. I've never been. I mean, I've been to virtual. I mean, well, retreats, but I hadn't done a virtual retreat yet. But
Oh,
yeah, I
awesome.
definitely love to check out one. Yeah. So, trying to make sure I answer any questions. Do you have anything you want to share with us? Because I think I've asked my questions.
I love it. Well, I mean, a few things.
Okay.
So I have, so what I'm doing now is on
Mm.
Instagram, I started a new series. It's called Dating at 50 because I've never been on a dating app before. And so I just started this process. And so today was my first day. So I'm launching that for 30 days to kind of see where things go, to really work out the the steps that one takes in creating a profile. But even before creating a profile, the conversations that one has about choosing the app and which app do you go on and how many and all of that stuff. I'm just kind of getting the download of, this is a lot of stuff, and I don't want to make it a full-time job because that's not what I want. And I want to have some experiences. So that's what I'm offering on Instagram, which I think will be fun and
Yeah.
funny and
Yeah.
vulnerable. And I'm totally terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also am offering, like I said, virtual
You
retreats
said
this
dating it.
month and
Uh-huh.
next month. And so for the virtual retreat this month, I'm offering a webinar next week, which I think will be really fun. And I can give you the link for that. I think it will be specifically for women who
Uh-huh.
are wanting to know more about desire and claiming their own desire.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm writing that down.
Great.
Retreat. Okay. Um, I was gonna say, I met my husband on a dating app.
I love that. I think you mentioned that when we spoke
Yeah.
before, and I was like, oh, yes, exciting.
Yes, yes. It was my first dating app, first time I ever been on a dating app, and he was my third date number. I
Oh,
met him. I told my cousin, she signed me up. I said only 30 days and I'm off. Because I didn't have a problem dating. I choose not to at the time.
mm-hmm.
I was having fun, girl. Just not
Mm-hmm.
dating, just doing whatever I wanted to do. I was flying here and flying there. I was just having fun. I had a good job. I had no care in the world. I mean, I worked hard. I played hard. And she was like, I think you should go on a date. And I was like, girl, I don't have a problem with getting a date. I get a date all the time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Exactly what I said. I said, I don't have no problem getting a date. It's
Love
just
it.
if I choose, I'm not trying to like, settle down with nobody. She said,
Yes.
I just think because at the time I was going out, I wasn't even going out. We were just having fun. He lived in California and I was here. But we would just fly. We would actually just travel together. And so anyway, I said, okay, I told him, which I said, only 30 days. I am not going to be on this thing. I was that person who was like dating on somebody online. Oh my gosh, people are crazy online. I was the person against it and had all the negative stuff to say about somebody dating online. I'm serious.
I
Don't
love
never
it.
say what you won't do. Cause I'm telling you, people say I was like, girl, you're crazy. It's crazy folks online. You're going to get somebody that I was that person. And then seriously, girl, I'm being so honest. And then I get online, she signs me up, she monitor, and he was my third date, met him day 21, and we've been married, it'll be 9 years. We got engaged quickly. We
Oh,
married 6 months later. And I was that person.
wow.
It's
And what
like
app was it, Jeniece?
Match.com.
I love it. Yeah.
I was on
I love hearing these stories. I'm like, that's so great.
what it is. And the funny thing is, I was in school like a year before I met him. Yeah. And my teacher kept asking me to get on eHarmony. He kept saying, I think you need to go set up a profile on eHarmony. And I
Your
was like,
teacher.
yeah, my professor. And I was like, why? I don't need to go say. He said, I think you need to see, because he kept saying eHarmony does this. It'll show you're compatible and this and that. And in me, it was going over my head, totally over my head. Because every time I saw him, even when he was no longer my teacher, I would run into him in the library, and he would run up to me and say, and he would make small conversation, but then he would always end like, "Did you do the eHarmony?" And I was like, "eHarmony," and I'm so crazy. I'm like, "Spell it."
I love it.
And he looked at me, and I knew how to spell it, but I was like, because I was trying to do some assignment. I'm like, really? And I'm like, spell it. And he laughed and he said, are you serious? I said, no, I'm not serious, but I don't understand what's with this eHarmony in you. And that I'm talking to him, and it didn't dawn on me. It was one of my friends, she said, Jeniece, he is trying to see if you a match. That's what she said.
Got it. Ding.
And it just went over my head. It went so over my head, Tara. I was like, what? Him? He wasn't a bad looking guy at all. He wasn't a bad look, but girl, I was so I wasn't trying to date nobody, but it was so funny. Every time he saw me, he was asking me about eHarmony.
Of course he was.
Yes. And I was like, and I promise you, it didn't dawn on me until my girlfriend said something. She's like, she was in the class, we were in school together, and she heard him a few times. She said, probably like weeks later, she's like, Jeniece, he is trying to see if you a match. And I was like, I don't have time to be on no eHarmony. I'm trying to get this degree.
Mm-hmm.
I got school work to do. I'm up late at night trying to write and work. I was like, I don't have no time for eHarmony, but he asked me for a whole year about eHarmony, and then I was like, and then I got on Match, and then I'm like, okay, I see why.
Mm-hmm.
I see
He wasn't
why.
on Match, huh?
I guess not, but I went on Match under my own name either. I had a different name on the Match.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, I didn't have my full name on the Match, but I had a picture of me out there though. But no, I guess he wouldn't, because he would have saw me.
Yes.
But
I
yeah, that
love it.
was so funny, and I just thought that was so funny because I was that person, like, who got time for a dating app? I was I was that person, and then I met
I
my
love it.
husband of 9 years on a dating app.
On the 21st day. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, I still have his email that he sent me and everything. Yeah.
And when did you know? When did you know that you'd marry him? I mean, you said 6 months you got engaged. So how did you know?
No, we got engaged 2 weeks after.
Oh, you got married 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So he said he knew right away. And then I'm so
Amazing.
crazy. Tara, I'm so crazy. He asked me to marry him. I was like, okay, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm telling you, I was like in denial for a minute. And I
You're
was
amazing.
I was like, okay, okay. My family loved him right away. And they were like, he's the one. I was like, we'll see. I'm wearing the ring. Talking about, we'll see, we'll see.
Oh my
And he was
goodness.
like, I was the one. Reason why it took 6 months because I was the reason. I was like, we'll see. We just gotta wait and see, wait and see. So 6 months later, we got married. But yeah, he knew right
And now
away.
9 years later, very
Mhm.
impressive, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm like, oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was cute, and it's. I mean, I love it because the way it turned out. Because I was the one against dating online, but the way it turned
Mm-hmm.
out, and to know that I married my husband from match, and that we're still like it's still like so fresh, you know,
So beautiful.
so fresh. So, we have. I mean, we're just a typical married couple, but it's still. I'm still excited to see him. You
Mm,
know.
how
So yeah.
beautiful. I
So,
love it.
so yeah, have fun with the girl. You're gonna have so much fun. Um, just enjoy it. What part of
That's
town you? I
my
mean, what part of the country you in again?
I'm in the Bay Area in California, so I
Oh,
am. Yep, I'm gonna love it. I think it will be an adventure, and I'm just wanting to have the experience of like no expectations, just to show up as a divine feminine and meet men.
that's gonna be so cool. Oh my gosh, yes, girl. I can't wait to hear.
I can't wait to tell you.
Yes, you're gonna be coming back to my girl. Let me tell you. I'm be like this. Where my popcorn, my I am. Can't wait, girl. Okay. So 30
Uh,
days of
30
discovering
days.
my, oh no, 30 days of dating.
Um, well, 30 days of dating, yeah, huh? But I feel like it's not every day is going to be a date. Every day is going to
Yeah.
be something to do with the dating app, is kind
Yeah.
of my sense. And I began it today, so I'll be done on the 29th of April.
Okay. How many apps you gonna get on? Do you know?
Right now, I'm only on one because I'm really slow about this and it's a lot of work.
It
I'm
is.
like, all I did was put a profile picture up. I like how you didn't put your real name, but of course I
Mhm.
didn't even think about that. And nobody else has said that except for you.
Yeah.
But I put my real name. It's really me. It's my profile picture from Facebook. And I'm like, okay. So I have not even created a profile yet. And I got all of this barrage of messages and I'm like, okay.
Girl, I'm telling you, when I first got on there, and I didn't make it. I made it broad, so I had a Google Plus number, so I didn't use my real number, and then I let everything go to my email, so I didn't have to even give out my Google number. But I
Mm-hmm.
had a Google email. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say I so green that it was like I had people from all parts of other countries messaging me. I can remember staying up to 3 o'clock in the morning trying to message everyone back. And I told my cousin, I said, girl, narrow this down to the US only. That's what I said, this is too much. I got a job. I said,
Yeah,
narrow this.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
And the thing is, she's in there to US, and then I had to tell her do Texas only because it was just too much. I went from
Yeah.
trying to respond to everybody, then people from Florida, and I was like, this is just too much. So I said Texas only, and then I
Yes.
said, then just do Dallas Fort Worth area
I
because
love it.
it
Yes.
was just too
Good.
much. Yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
it was too much people, and um then they was telling you don't what they say don't because back then people from other country would be like trying to get you on. I think it was Messenger, some where they can try to hack into your computer. So
Mm-hmm.
they was like don't take calls through something. I can't even remember because I remember some guy tried to do that, and I end up saying, look, I'm tell you, I told you I'm gonna look throw it off. I was like, he was, I can't remember what happened, but anyway, I end up telling him, I'm like, I am in trouble. He said, you are? I said, yeah. I said, my family worked for the FBI, and they've been tracking everything, and found out that he hung up, he shut his whole profile down.
You are so funny.
He shut his whole profile down. I couldn't find him no more.
Of course not. Oh my goodness. So
I'm telling
funny.
you, it was hilarious because I didn't know. I was like, because he kept asking for it. He kept asking to get in. He wanted to, I can't remember, but it was something like he wanted to get into my system because I couldn't do something. And I
Yeah,
was
he
like, I
wanted to
know
get
how
into
to
your
do that.
system. Yeah.
Yes. So he wanted to get it. I don't know what he wanted to do. I was like, I can't do that. And then I never forget, he called me, and through Messenger, I want to say it's through Messenger, something like that. Yeah. And I said, oh, I'm in trouble. My dad is so mad at me. He's like, what happened? I said, my family worked for the FBI, and they found something going on. Somebody trying to get in my system. Girl, he hung up on me and he cut his profile down. I was like, okay. I'm telling you, the reason why I had 3 dates, Tara, is because I would tell the guys they need to get a background check before I would go out with them.
I love it.
And they would be like, so that's when people would, I had one guy to tell me all his stuff. He just told me, oh, you're going to find this. And I was like, okay, well, we're not going out. Thanks for telling me, thanks for saving me $75 because we're not going out.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Girl, it was so fun. I had one guy, my very first date, his background check came back. He told me, I mean, he worked for the government, but he would call me and say, when did you get my background check yet? And I'm like,
I love it.
I'm telling you, I had some fun, but I just let them be up front. And I stayed up front with them, but it was funny because I had guys who was like, I cannot believe you're gonna do a background check on me. I'm like, I cannot believe you won't let me.
Noted. Oh, Jeniece, this has been so enlightening. I love your style.
Yeah, girl, yeah. It saved me a lot of, yes, because I heard a lot of good stories and a lot of bad stories from dating too. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna. And keep in mind, I was on there kicking and screaming because my cousin.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, these are the rules that I'm gonna be on here by. And she was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. So my husband, when I met him, he gave me everything. He gave me his life. He gave me everything. I didn't even have to. Some of them I didn't act. They gave it to me. I just let them know I was doing a background check. I'm doing a background check. I don't need any information from you to do it, but I'm just letting you know. It was so cool though.
I love it. And your husband was like, here's my driver's license because I know in 2 weeks I'm going to propose to you.
Yeah, he did. He gave me his driver's license. Yes, he gave me his driver's license. He gave me his mother's name. And I was like, oh, okay.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, so it worked out. He was used to dating online. I wasn't.
Amazing. Were you the first who would ask for a background check?
He said he never, he doesn't know if anybody ever done one on, but I was the first to tell him I was doing it.
The first to tell him, yeah.
I didn't ask. I just said I'm doing a background check. I didn't own all of them. I have even one guy. He was an officer. Girl, he was so mad at me. He cussed me out so bad. I was like, and I'm so crazy. I'm like, and you the man of the law. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for saving me headaches. Girl, he was like, I was like, I'm so glad I get to see this side of you.
Truly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. He was like, how dare you? I'm a police officer. I said, more reason why I need to check you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then he didn't submit. So off the list.
Yes. That was my way of weaving out the bed though. Really.
I love it. You're so smart.
To save myself a lot of work too. Yes. So have fun with it. I hope that was helpful. I have fun with it.
Oh, I see that. So helpful. And if I have any questions, I'm contacting you.
Feel free. I'm not an expert, but I can tell you what I can give you. I can help you figure it out.
Yeah, you are a wealth of wisdom. I see that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so enjoyed this. This was so much fun and so needed.
Oh, really good. Really
Yes.
good. Thanks so much. And thanks for your persistence. I apologize for not making it yesterday, but I'm glad this worked out.
No, no problem. It worked out for both of us, girl. I mean, I just timing is everything, and things.
Timing is
I
everything.
believe
Yeah.
in whatever meant to happen is going to happen.
Yes, I love that.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep.
Well, it's been so great speaking with you, Jeniece. Have a glorious rest of your day. I love it.
I will. You do the same, and I would message you when this is released. Let me stop it.